A reading from the Gospel according to Matthew. And Jesus said to them, "The kingdom of heaven will be like this. 10 bridesmaids took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish, and 5 were wise. When the foolish took their lamps, they took no oil with them, but the wise took flasks of oil with their lamps. As the bridegroom was delayed, all of them became drowsy and slept. But at midnight there was a shout, 'Look, here is the bridegroom! Come out to meet him!' Then all those bridesmaids got up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish said to the wise, 'Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out.' But the wise replied, 'No, there will not be enough for you and for us. You had better go to the dealers and buy some for yourselves.' And while they went to buy it, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went into the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later the other bridesmaids came also, saying, 'Lord, Lord, open to us.' But he replied, 'Truly I tell you, I do not know you. Keep awake, therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour.'" The word of the Lord. Be prepared, be ready. That was the Boy Scout motto I was taught as a kid growing up, was be prepared. Jesus thinks it's important enough that they understand the importance of saying you need to prepare yourself and do what you should be doing to be the disciple you are called to be now, and not to wait until the last moment, because you know neither the day nor the hour. He's given 2 parables on this, yesterday's and today's. Parables on the idea of saying, don't wait until the last minute, be prepared. When I moved to be the rector at St. Stephen's, it was about 2 months before Hurricane Harvey hit. We didn't know that at the time, of course. But when we bought our house, we got hurricane insurance because we were trying to be prepared and be ready. And we found out the insurance doesn't activate for 90 days. And the storm was not 90 days away. It was like 2 days away. And we said, why on earth would you make it so that you could buy insurance that doesn't take effect for 90 days? And they said it's because it's to prevent people from just seeing that there's a storm coming in the forecast, buying the insurance then, and then maybe canceling it if the storm doesn't hit. It's a mechanism that forces you not to try to guess the day or the hour, but to just be prepared. I say this as sort of another parable on this from my own life. Simply to say, Jesus wants his disciples to stop, look at what's possible in their lives, and to make sure that they're doing the work that they need to do. Take account of what is coming up in your life. And like the bridegrooms in this story that don't know when the groom's going to arrive, or like the poor little rector at a church on the Gulf of Mexico that doesn't know when the storm is going to hit, to have our affairs in order ahead of time. Now, how do we as Christians do that well? Well, part of it is to remember this is why we've been given the commandments. This is why we've been given the law and the prophets, to remind us of the kind of people we're called to be now. Are you loving God and loving your neighbor in the best way that you could be right at this moment? If you feel like there are things that are holding you back in your life, or if you find yourself saying, oh, it's that thing I wish I was getting to, I know it's important, but I'm just not getting to it, if it never seems to be the priority, those are all I would take them as warning signs. I would take them as warning signs that you forgot to bring the oil for your lamp with you, or you forgot to make sure that you had your windstorm insurance when you should have. You were not, as the Boy Scouts said, prepared. And the time to start working on that is now. As they say, there's no time like the present, right? If there are things that are getting between you and God, or love of neighbor, and if that is a fight that you had that you haven't resolved, a slight that needs to be forgiven that wasn't forgiven, there's a compassionate word that needs to be said that just hasn't been said yet, if it's you know you should be re-engaging in the life of the worship community, or you really want to be reaching out and tending to those in need, or you feel you've got that burning desire for the social justice thing, but just haven't gotten around to doing it yet, now's the time. Be prepared. And if you're doing that, then as Jesus is suggesting in the parable, you'll be like the bridesmaids that's ready to go, so that when the bridegroom, the kingdom, Jesus, the hurricane, whatever it is in your life, when it arrives, you'll have found that you had your affairs in order and you're ready for it. Amen.